based on what I saw, we have a picture, if she comes back, of what it kind of looks like. And it goes anywhere from knee high to full height depth. There seems to be machine gun positions, and it appear to be like two trench lines facing each other. It's directly west of us. If you're familiar with the barn, it's north of the barn, northwestish of the barn. And it's going to be interesting. I think it's probably going to be one of the primary objectives to try and hit since it's brand new. I don't think that was talked about at all in the op or any of the leadership. I didn't think they knew it even existed, so it's going to be quite fun to try and fight that. So, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of crew serves, and even if we did have crew serve weapon systems, the effective range is the same as these. So it's very Civil War era with muskets and things like forces just smashing into each other and having total carnage that way. And it's exaggerated by the fact that tag-ins aren't really a thing anymore, and you can only throw hand grenades about as far as a BB gun can shoot. So if we go, we're going to use cover and concealment as best we can, use elevation as best we can to drop rounds, Bs on top of the people that are occupying the positions. Like I said, it's knee-high in most places, which is to our advantage, so they can't maneuver inside of those trench lines. It seems to be the foxhole positions or the fortified positions that they have in that area are full body height, so they can stick the machine guns right about shoulder height and engage us. But anything that's connecting those areas together is about knee high, so we'll be able to engage them as they're maneuvering between the fighting positions. If we're the main assault, typically what happens is you have a breaching team that will come up and they'll establish a breach point, they'll mark it. Usually that's a left side and right side, because in many cases there's like minefields and concertina wire and all sorts of like booby traps set up to slow your maneuver into their trenches, right? And so they want to slow you down so that their small arms fire can cut you down. This is slightly different. They don't have those things set up, I hope. What we'll want to utilize is bounding overwatch positions and being able to put suppressive fire on the enemy positions so that we can maneuver our guys into and establish a foothold inside the trench lines. The best thing to use in that situation is smoke. So if you guys do have smoke, save it for the trench line. Save it for getting to arm range, throwing range of the trench line, so you can throw it to be about 10 meters in front of the trench, let it billow, and then you guys can maneuver, and hopefully that will mask your movements. You want to be very spread out. If we have the opportunity, we're going to be so spread out that it's going to be impossible for one person to engage multiple people. It would be this massive line. And at some point, I'll probably position myself to be able to be the flanking corner, right? So we'll have this big long line, and then I'll move here, and I'll be like right side, wagon wheel left, and you guys will collapse down, and then we'll either have the primary assaulting force push through, or we'll have the flanking element push through, and then we'll basically, one side will go shift fire, we'll use shift fire signals so that you're not shooting your own friends, and we'll have markers. I have a VS-17 panel that we'll use to identify the lead element that's going through the trench line, and we'll probably be using other sections of the VS-17 panel to mark cleared fighting positions so friendlies don't engage those people as they maneuver through the trench line, because you're not going to be able to see who's in there.
Yeah.
A lot of times what happens is the lead element in taking the trench line will have a stick of some sorts, and they'll hang a VS-17 or an IR chem light or something like that off of it, so that the supporting element can see the forward trace and maneuver their guns and change fire and suppress the enemy while that element moves through the trench line. My plan for myself is to be setting up a CCP with my medic, which is not you. Who is it?
Homie with the sevens.
He's going to be our medic. I'll see if I can find some sort of marking device for him. We're going to really want to capitalize on having CLS and medics with water, so we can get high turnover rate of our casualties back into the fight. So if you guys have squads, identify your CLS guys. And then if you guys I heard you guys are restructuring a little bit, is that right?
Yeah, so we got a couple of our buddies. I'm the squad leader for 4-3.
Okay.
So
Okay. So, I'll go with you guys and make sure that your guys' situation set up properly.
And I know
Radio check at 720.
Sure. Cool.
and our squad kind of got, we were split up, we all put together.
Yeah.
I think we have a medic as well.
Well, it's supposed to be one squad.
CLS?
Yeah.
Okay, great, perfect. So that is, you guys, just as not administrative, but like operational way of doing things, you guys shouldn't have to talk to Jim at all. If you guys need something, come to me, and then I'll consolidate the request through the squads, and then go up and get it from the company level and bring it back. If you guys have radios, please don't. You got some bullshit comm system, you're gonna screw up our communications, because a lot of times those things break where they hot mic and they bleed over our nets and we can't communicate. Is anybody running ATAC here? Okay. So I have ATAC. ATAC's a great tool. It's the future, man. So I suggest you guys look into that. There's a lot of talk about it on I think the MSW like general interest page and stuff like that. We have a full-time guy now who manages our servers and stuff like that. It's a great tool to be able to maneuver, see maneuvering elements. For example, one time we were moving this big long snake column, and I saw all the arrows pointing in one direction, and we stopped moving. I was like, oh, there's probably a bad guy over here, and we were able to send a flanking element that way because the comms were trash. So it's a great tool as long as you have cell service. Looks like we have a lot of nods. Who wants to do sneaky boy stuff at night? I'm assuming you guys. Okay. Okay. So that's two over here, 3.
And the medic.
5. The medic. Okay.
Come on, somebody's got to
Okay,
get it in
then-
and do the healing at night.
We need to give you a squad designation, right? You guys don't have one yet? Yeah. Okay. And what squad are you?
We're 4-3, but it's like some of our guys
Just
were
say
in
4-2, dog.
Yeah, 4-2.
Okay, so 4-2. Do I have another squad? How about this? If you guys can push off your squad to the side, we'll get in kind of a squad. So if you're